Hello and welcome to In the Tunnel. My name is Sean,
I'm Jeremy. Woo.
and today we took a little bit of a hiatus because of Thanksgiving, spending time with
Yeah.
our families and such. So
Yep. Not our fault.
we're looking forward to get
We
back
were
into it.
we were given time off and we took it. I don't know.
All
Not a
right.
lot of fight back by us.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to get back into it. So let's just jump straight in. Yeah.
Sounds good.
So let's talk AFC then.
All right. So football first. We're gonna start off by saying we're gonna throw out some of the bad teams. We've had episodes where we've gone through every single team. We're just not gonna do that tonight. You know which teams suck. You know which teams don't. And we're not here to talk about tanking teams. At least not tonight.
Yeah. So we're looking at the Chiefs are still a game up on the Patriots for number one.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty decent.
And
It still looks like they are the 1-2
yeah,
order to still be determined.
and it'll be interesting to see because if the Chiefs lose one more game, then you know who's back on top in the conference.
Right.
So I think ideally you don't. If you're any other team in the AFC, you don't want to go play in New England for an AFC championship game. So you'd rather go to Kansas City, despite the atmosphere that's there too. So root for the Chiefs from here on out, I guess, unless your team's playing them.
Yeah, and the Chargers aren't too far behind them at 8-3. So that division winner is still pretty up for grabs.
Yeah, so the Chargers aren't too far behind, but Melvin Gordon got injured yesterday in a blowout win against the Cardinals. So that'll be something to keep an eye on. But Eckler, who's like a kind of a Darren Sproles type running back, he's done really good in his role throughout the year, given the opportunities that he's had. So we'll see if there's really any drop off. I'm sure there will be some, maybe not noticeable. So, they got the Steelers next prime time on Sunday night, so we'll see how that works out because the Steelers have been giving up a lot of running yards in the last couple of weeks. So,
we'll see.
The Chargers could very well be fine until Gordon comes back. You never know.
Yeah, they're pretty set up to, even though you got injured, they're still in contention. I still think they have the shot because
absolutely.
There's still 5 games left for these teams.
This was week 12. So yeah, between 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. The rest of the AFC East outside the Patriots is the Broncos. It's tough because now they're in that category at 5 and 6, where it's like you never know if they will make the playoffs. They certainly aren't out of it, but it feels like they're going to need some tiebreakers or more of a win out kind of scenario because it's going to be hard to make it 9 and 7.
To be fair, every other team that is at least in contention still is either at 6 and 5 or 5 and 6. Yeah. So it's not like they're completely out, but it's pretty tough for them because they have the extra loss, so they really got to win their game.
Exactly. And yeah, it's just that thing where only so many teams can make it. I'm not sure that right now, if you look at the teams that are in the hunt, that the Broncos make even your second cut.
Because even though the Chargers have an injury from last game, I still think Chiefs and Chargers make it out.
Yeah. So if you say the Chargers take one wild card spot, you have to look around and say who's number 2. And it could be the Broncos if they get,
they got to get
winning.
Lucky.
Right, but you also have a team like the Ravens, the Colts are 6 and 5. There's a number of teams that are just hovering around that line too. I mean, you could even throw the Dolphins in there, although I'm not really sure how seriously you take it when you say the Dolphins.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see. It's one of those things where it's kind of like at the beginning of the season, you need a little bit more time to see how it plays out before you can really justify and make a call.
So. But I mean, they have an uphill battle because, like, at least the Ravens, they have a game on them already. The Colts have their game on them, right? So it's going to be tough.
Yeah, tiebreakers come into play here,
right? And the Colts have been super hot, but yeah. So let's get so the North, right? The Steelers, 7-3. They have a pretty, like, I think they're going to win their division. So I think the tie helps them more so.
It was one of those things that it hurts until, like, you see that it's not a loss later in the season. But I think that the division is a little more interesting than it looks like, because the Ravens are now 2-0 with Lamar Jackson and Joe Flacco being out. It was like, well, maybe that's it for this season, and you wrap it up. But now they're, not far out of the division in the wild card race.
Right.
And at the same time, the Bengals, who started, like, what was it, 5-1 or something?
It was like 4-1 maybe. 3 or 4-1, yes.
Yeah, they're now 5-6. Andy Dalton is out for the rest of the year, we found out today, and the Browns just absolutely stomped on them in their own house too.
Yeah. So my only problem with the tie for the Steelers is that it was against the Browns.
Yeah, well, I mean, but it's also a Browns team that, if you look at it now, 4 wins is obviously exponentially more really than good. Yeah.
Especially compared to last season, the seasons before, so.
Yeah, and they've been in contention in some of the games that they've lost too, so let's not forget that.
But the tie also really hurts their season because you're not really coming back from 4-6.
Yeah, but in terms of what the expectations are for each team's season, if you're the Steelers, it's a little different than the Browns.
Right.
The Browns, you're looking for that culture change. The Steelers, you're looking for a ring.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, they've been playing so well that they could have still technically been in contention at 5-6, but I think that tie just, takes them out of the playoff spot. Like,
9-6-1 is a little bit of a tough straw.
Yeah, like, nothing against how they've been doing, which is amazing, and all credit to them and whatever's going on back there. But as far as the playoffs are concerned, that one tie, I feel like, hurts them, whereas it's kind of helping the Steelers.
Yeah, because, like I said, it's now a loss that isn't there on a technicality. So AFC South, the Texans are playing right now because it's Monday night. They're playing the Titans. The Titans look like they're on their way down, but they keep kind of like bobbing their head above the water just to try to make us think that they're still in the picture. But now with the Colts in second place, it just doesn't seem feasible that the Titans are going to make it.
I mean, you're looking at the Colts, right? They started 1-5 or something like that.
Yeah, what's with the AFC South? Look at how the AFC South has gone.
And then,
the Titans have been. Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. The Titans have been up and down all year, so we can kind of throw them aside.
Hold on, no. The Titans started. The Titans, they've been like middle, right? Like you were saying, right? Like good and bad and good and bad. They are the only like team that you're like, what the heck is going on right now?
Yeah, but no, in the AFC South in itself, the Jaguars started out like
3-1.
3-1, and they're now 3-8. The Texans started 0-3, they're now 7-3. The Colts started 1-5, they're now 6-5.
Yeah,
there's a lot of streaks going on in flipping of the standings in this division.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying that it's going to happen again because I think we're kind of settling in. Plus now Bortles is benched; he's not going to start next week, so I think kind of see a changing of the guard. Whereas the Jaguars and Titans made it last year into the playoffs, the script is flipped this year.
Yeah. So I mean, as far as that goes, right? So we're looking really at the Colts because I think the Titans are out of it with how they're playing really inconsistently.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at them to probably like maybe finish the season 8-8, and I don't think that gets them in the playoffs.
No, I mean I don't think that their defense is good enough to
Yeah,
sustain that kind of pressure long term anyway.
but yeah, like we're looking at the Colts to be one of the wild card contenders, and then depending on how the Ravens continue to do,
Yeah, I'd say those are the big two,
yeah.
but also remember Chargers.
Well, the Chargers are the one that I'm saying is so. I'm saying both Kansas City and
Yeah, you're talking about
LA
that
Chargers are
Yeah,
going
you're
in.
talking about that
I'm
sixth
talking,
seed.
yeah, 6 seed,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really like because the Ravens are on a 2-game win streak, also, right?
Yeah,
The 2 games won without Flacco, right?
yeah,
So you're looking at them. If they can continue, they can push for that spot. But the Colts are really hot right now, so I I see it being one of those two teams.
yeah. Me too.
All right, so you want to hit the NFC?
I would love to do nothing more.
All right, so let's get the East out of the way because it's the most crafty division.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like now that the Redskins have lost enough games to have lost their place in first.
Well,
Which I mean, that's the most NFC East thing ever is to like have a lead for a number of weeks and just like let it get away.
yeah,
And then like the Eagles are done. Like they're 5-6, but none of their wins are against quality opponents. The Giants, they're done. I don't know why they thought that they were going to make the playoffs anyway. Like they were 2-7, then they were like, we know we have to win out to get into the playoffs. It's like stop. Like the other end of the spectrum is a lot closer. Just go there.
yeah.
I don't know why they thought that they were going to make the playoffs. That's
Hey,
like the stupidest thing.
Hey, so I mean, it is Cowboys Redskins, but the Cowboys have the advantage for the tiebreaker.
Yeah, I mean, plus Alex Smith being out is obviously a huge loss.
Oh yeah,
And it's one of those huge losses that you don't really think it's going to be a huge loss because hey, it's Alex Smith. He's like the most average starting quarterback because he doesn't like throw deep and all that stuff. He's very much take what the defense gives you. And so you don't really feel like you're missing out on an all-pro quarterback. But at the same time, he was playing better than pretty much any Redskins quarterback in the past few years.
Yep.
So,
I mean, so let's get this out of the way. There, only one team is making the playoffs from that division, I think.
Yeah, I think the NFC is too strong.
Move on.
Yeah.
So
let's move on.
West, the Rams are 10-1. They are battling the Saints for 1-2. Both of those teams will get the bye week. I don't see any of the other teams taking a bye week from either of them.
No, unless like they bench their starters now and lose out.
Yeah, not happening.
Yeah, exactly.
So
the Seahawks are still quote unquote in contention, but in the NFC, it's kind of hard.
Yeah, but they're relevant because they're 6-5, right?
Yes, but and I'll say this: it's because they're relevant because the Panthers have lost like 2 or 3 in a row.
Right.
If the Panthers won one of those games and were 7-4 instead of 6-5, their relevance, the Seahawks would be half that.
Right. But so yeah, that's the only other team to talk about, but they're still relevant because the other teams in the NFC right now, the wildcard teams are 6-5. So even though I'm saying that like only one team's making out of the East, we are technically at a point where we could see 2 because 6-5 is the wild card cutoff aside from the Vikings right now.
Yeah. And I think it also, not that we thought that the Packers were going to make it anyway.
Oh, no.
But the fact that they've lost their last 2 certainly helps the Seahawks.
Right.
And it certainly helps any team that's on the 6-5, 5-6 cusp, although there's not a 5-6 team in the NFC.
Right. And I mean, it's looking like the Packers are going to go like 7-8-1, how their records are playing out. Because, again, They haven't lost at home, but that doesn't mean they have won all the games either, and they are completely winless on the road. So
I'd say the best part of the Packers season so far is that they only have 2 remaining road games.
yeah, but that's not going to get you in the playoffs at 7-8.
Well, no. At this point, that you've lost 75% of your road games, you might as well just be like, we only have to like do this a couple more times.
Yeah.
Mentally, going into a different stadium is tough, and to be like, well, we just don't win in another team's stadium makes it even tougher.
Right.
And it's apparently a mountain that they just can't, get over this year.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So they're technically still in it, but if they can't win a road game, which they definitely can't at this point, they're done.
At what point should they just bench Rodgers? Or not bench Rodgers, but rest him for next year so he doesn't like tear an ACL in a meaningless game?
I don't see them doing that. Unless it's like
he's been hurt a lot in the past.
Unless it's like week 16 and they're definitely out, or week 17 and they're definitely out, like they're not going to do that.
I guess, but at some point it's kind of nice to see what you have at the number 2 position on the depth chart.
Right. But I mean, again, unless they're definitely out, I don't see Rodgers wanting to sit, nor do I see the Green Bay Packers actually sitting him.
I think the guy's getting like $80 million by like March. So I don't think that his losses are going to be all that much.
Yeah.
So we'll see, but
all right, so South, eh?
Yeah.
All right, so Saints, as we said, they're 1 or 2. They're currently tied with the Rams, so they can go fight it out. Then the Panthers at 6-5, right? So
yeah, I mean,
with every other in contention wildcard team aside from the Vikings, who
I'll say this,
hold the 5 spot right now.
I'll say this: outside of the game against the Steelers, the Panthers' recent games that they've lost have been very close. They've lost on game-winning field goals, stuff like that. So it's not that the Panthers are a bad team by any stretch, and maybe the record doesn't show how good they are, but they're having a little bit of bobbing up and down.
That's okay, but my thing is, right? So that's just saying your defense can't make stops or control short plays in the final minutes of the game, and that's a problem.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Because I agree with you. They've been close, but close doesn't cut it. And if they've lost closely due to game-winning drives in the past couple of games, that points to a problem that's repetitive. It's recurring. So we'll see. But right now, the Vikings hold one of the wild card spots, right? Because they have the better record with that one tie.
Yeah, but also the Seahawks beat the Panthers this weekend. So Seahawks now have the tiebreaker over the Panthers.
Right. So I mean, I think those are the 2 teams, right? Because the other one would be the Redskins, and I don't think they hold anything.
It's kind of hard to remember at this point in time.
Yeah, I don't see them going anywhere anyway, because they have.
That would just be like at this point in time in the season. As the season goes on, I'm sure the NFC East team falters a little more.
Yeah, you're looking at like an 8-8 winner of the division or a 9-7.
Right, because the NFC East team has to play teams that still don't think that they're out of it yet. Whereas in the NFC South, you get the Panthers get to play like the Falcons and the Buccaneers.
Yeah. So yeah.
All right. Yeah. So let's see.
Anything you want to?
Yeah. So the 49ers released their linebacker, who was like the number 3 pick or something last year in the draft. He was arrested for domestic violence. Not really. That's all we really need to show on that one, is because, they invest such a high pick in a guy, and the leash is so. I'm sure he had a troublesome past when he was drafted too, but Or no, I'm sorry, he wasn't drafted number 3. He was drafted in the first round though.
Yeah.
So yeah, short leash. You can't be making stupid mistakes, and he's gone.
All right.
So let's move on. NBA.
All right. So let's just get on
So
with the Eastern Conference.
let's just not even Eastern Conference. Let's just go NBA in general. You got the Raptors, Bucks, Sixers, the 3 teams you thought that were going to be on the top in the East.
They're in the
top in the East.
No surprise.
The Western Conference a little different. You got the Clippers at number 1, which is a little stunning, but they're only tied for number 1 because
they have 2 games in hand.
They do, but at the same time, it's still a little bit of a tie. The Warriors number 2, the Nuggets number 3. Surprisingly, the Grizzlies are number 4. OKC's 5, Portland 6, Lakers 7, Pelicans 8, and then you got the crap teams after that.
Right. So actually,
except for the Rockets. The Rockets are not in the playoff picture right now, and neither are the Timberwolves.
So if you look though, right, right now there's a below 500 team in the Eastern Conference that technically makes the playoffs.
Yeah, but I mean, come on.
Right now
it's been like that for a couple of years now.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like aside from like the top heaviness of the West, all of the bottom teams are really close.
Except for the Suns.
Well, yeah, that's like, I mean, if it's a little top heavy, there has to be one casualty. And
True.
for you, it's the Suns.
I don't care as much anymore. I've given up a long time ago.
And so, but like, they're all really close. Like, again, the Jazz are 9-11, and they're the second worst team in the conference. And again, the Pelicans are even 500.
Yeah, not a great look, but
I mean,
it's a better look than in the East.
Yeah, that just shows you how close things are, right? Like in the East, you got a team at 4-16, you got a team at 4-14, you got a team at 5-15. Like, it doesn't get any better.
Yeah, it really doesn't. I'm so glad that the NBA is fixed now. And speaking of fixed, Markelle Fultz is broken again. So the guy who couldn't shoot and lost all of his confidence in his ability to play basketball last year and somehow came back. I don't know how or what. So now he's gone. He's now again broken. And apparently the Cavaliers have inquired about trading for the broken man, because I guess if you're at the table, you might as well try to collect scraps. But I mean, he's now going to a doctor, I believe a doctor in New York, who's a specialist, but
sports psychologist.
Yeah, maybe something like that. I didn't read the article, to be honest with you. Headlines reign supreme. It's just like, I don't understand why someone would want a player who's broken like this. And yeah, the Sixers obviously are losing patience. And I guess Fultz's agent is like, well, he shouldn't practice with the team or like play in any games or do any activity until he seeks out attention. It's kind of like, well, this is a lot for a number 1 overall pick to have go wrong.
I mean,
it's like, how long do you hold on and give him hope?
I mean,
they're trying to win a title with this team and this roster.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think they have a shot this year.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's really disputing that. I just think that, a confident Fultz would go a long way.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a little bit weird that this is happening, but I guess if it's going to happen, you try to get out of the way early in the season. So I don't know. There's not a lot of time for there to be a window to be uncomfortable in the NBA.
Okay. I mean, yeah, it's a different ballgame too, because like the roster slots are limited. That you dress like 11 guys or something like that.
Yeah, not even enough to carry Carmelo Anthony in Houston.
Yeah.
All right. So that's all I got for basketball. So,
All right.
we didn't really miss much there.
Yeah.
So
right.
let's talk puck.
Yeah. Let's talk.
All right.
Let's just get our teams out of the way because they're both pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Devils, they are now 9, 10, and 4 because they just lost in overtime against the freaking Florida Panthers.
Oh, damn. that's a really bad look.
So
Jeez, man.
They have 22 points. The Florida Panthers are now 9, 9, and 4, so they have 22 points. So, oh boy.
Hey, yeah. I mean, we're hovering around the same territory as you guys.
Yeah.
9, 8, and 5.
Yeah, at least you guys are positive in win-loss, technically.
We got that overtime loss against the Bruins. That always, throw another point in the mix as you're losing games.
Yeah, I mean,
for some reason we can't win the 3-on-3 overtime games this year.
Devils just don't know how to shoot 3-on-3.
Yeah, and Matt Murray sucks.
Yeah, but he got hurt, right? Yari's in.
He's on IR, but come on, like look.
You're talking to the guy who has Corey Schneider on like a $6 million contract. Okay,
I understand that, but Matt Murray gets hurt a lot, but it's now to the point where I feel like he was put on an IR for an excuse. Like, we didn't know he was hurt, and then he just went straight on IR.
Okay.
So, I don't know. I'm kind of getting over Murray until he proves otherwise.
Yeah, but
I mean, can't be all the way off because,
literally won you 2 cups.
Yeah. And for some, but that just bears the question: what's going on since?
But I also think it's not just Murray; it's your entire team.
Yeah, I mean, our defense is playing like crap too, but you still have to bail some, shots out.
He has some responsibility. I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm just saying. I think your entire team doesn't show up till after the All-Star break.
I think the Jack Johnson signing is starting to look really stupid. It's like, how many offensive defensemen do you really need? Play some defense.
It's like in their name. I hate it too, but I like defensive defensemen. But
yeah, exactly. It's like they spent like all their cap space on Jack Johnson too.
I mean, they didn't really have much, in my opinion.
I mean, enough to give a $16 million deal.
Oh,
something in the neighborhood. So.
Was it like 3 years, 4 years, 3 years?
It was either 4 or 5, 3, 4 or 5.
That doesn't really help. That's a pretty big gap.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a big cap hit either way.
Well, no, I mean like 5 years is like $3 million a year, which it's not really that bad. Whereas 3 years is now $6 million a year, which is pretty darn bad.
Let's look it up here. Let's see. 5-year contract worth 16.25.
Yeah. Okay, so it's like $3 million.
Yeah, but that's a lot to put on one defenseman.
Not really.
A defenseman who's 31.
Again, my team gave $4.616 million a year to Severson.
I guess.
I mean, he's been proving himself this year, but like defensemen, there are only 6 slots for defensemen, and they tend to be overpaid, especially like really. I think their margin of overpayment in the offseason or trade deadline is a lot higher than a forward.
I don't know, but right now this year he's played in 22 games. He's got 6 points, and he's a minus 10.
Okay.
I'd like to see a little bit better productivity out of him.
All right. But okay, so now that we've got our crap teams, now that we've got our crap teams out of the way, let's talk about the actual good teams in the NHL.
Yeah, now that our anger has been properly, vocalized to an audience, let's try to be even keeled and do the rest of the league.
Yeah, so I mean, we have Tampa Bay in the Eastern Conference. Tampa Bay is at the top of the Atlantic and the entire conference with 17-6-1 with 35 points
and a 3-game win streak.
Yeah. But I mean, they're still really good. There's nothing else to say.
Yeah. And then the surprise team at number 2 in the Atlantic with a 9-game win streak is the 16-6-2, 34-point Buffalo Sabres. And who would have thought that they would have grown up so quick?
But they got younger.
That's a joke.
Anyway, no, so like
such great chemistry between the co-hosts.
Yeah. I mean, anyway, like
go ahead.
I think Dahlin's been playing fantastic. Mm-hmm. He was put on the first line. Now it's been quite a while, I think. I think they had like him and Ristolainen on the first line, Rasmus. Defensive pairing, sorry, not line. And he's been playing really well. I think
I
he
think
changed that team.
Right.
They have a defenseman. Oh my.
Hey, they're obviously doing well enough to win a game that the Penguins were up 4-1 in the third period.
Yep. Okay, and then I mean,
and then the Leafs. William Nylander will probably never play for them again, but they're still doing all right.
I mean, they're 16-8.
Not bad.
Yeah, they have 0 overtime losses. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, I'd have to say so. And then you got the Bruins. You know, they've played one less game, 13-6-4. They got 30 points. It's crazy. You have 4 teams in the Atlantic with north of 30 points and no teams in the Metro that even have it.
Yo, hold on. Okay, so the Atlantic, the top to bottom is separated by 15 points, okay? Mm-hmm. In the Metro, the separation is
8.
Now 7. for 7. Now, depending on how the other games end.
Yeah, exactly. It's very much NFC East.
Yeah. So, I mean, we could be talking about the Metro in like 3 weeks, and all of a sudden you see the Penguins on top. Like, literally nothing has changed.
Yeah, probably won't happen. But
I mean, it's just a possibility because it's only 7-8 points. Like, that's 4 wins, and to be fair, that's not a lot in an 82-game season.
Yeah, and you're right. And we talked about this before the show. The Penguins, were 7-8-4. They won 1 game and got an overtime loss and somehow jumped 2 spots in the standings. That's how big of a crapshoot this Metro division is right now. You can jump spots and lose games at the same time.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, so I mean, let's just talk about the Metro though. So we'll talk about the top 3 teams, right? So the Capitals, no surprise there. Wilson's been killing since he's got back in the point scoring, not in the other players category. Got to put that out there.
I mean, look, the only surprise here is that the Islanders are in the 3rd spot, but the fact of the matter is with how tight this division is, the Islanders could be out of the 3rd spot by tomorrow.
Yeah.
Maybe not seriously speaking, but, it could happen that quick.
Seriously speaking.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The Rangers are tied with them.
Yeah. Like, you got the Hurricanes who are 1 point below them. You got the Rangers who are tied with them.
It's some weird division when the Islanders, Rangers, and Hurricanes are in the middle. And the Flyers, Penguins, and Devils are at the bottom.
Hey. I mean, the Flyers are doing so bad that they fired their GM, so apparently...
Yeah, why don't you make that joke again? Let's see if it lands this time.
So they fired Ron Hextall.
Hey, Sean, who'd the Flyers fire today?
Hextall?
Which one?
The wrong one.
Woo! Knee slapping comedy. You gotta love it. Hey, it did better this time than last time.
Oh, we don't even want to talk about last time.
Yeah, let's just say that Jeremy is not front office knowledgeable.
Yeah. So yeah, anyway,
or should I say bench knowledgeable?
I mean, like, though, to be fair, this division, like, we might as well just, like, not talk about it until somebody's actually doing good and somebody's actually doing bad.
Sounds good. Let's move on.
All right, so the Western Conference.
Yeah.
In
So
the
just
Central,
like when we last left you, the Predators are number 1 in the Central.
yeah, they have a 5-point lead. They're 17-6-1, just like the Lightning.
Yeah. And just as we last left you, the Wild were number 2. And just like last time, the Blackhawks and Blues suck. For some reason, the Blackhawks are still making trades. Don't really know why. They fired their coach. Makes sense.
There's
and we do know why.
There's also this weird stat, or not really stat, but so Joel Quenneville and Todd McClellan, they were fired within 3 days of losing to the Calgary Flames. Okay, then
Awesome. I like the stat.
So then Dylan Strome and Brandon Perlini were then traded 3 days within 3 days of losing to the Calgary Flames.
All right. This sounds a little bit like we've got some insider trading going on here. The Calgary Flames might be on the button here.
No. So basically, if you lose to Calgary, your job's at risk.
So Cleveland Browns head coaches, watch out. All right. So anyway, it's pretty much same old in the Central.
Well, I mean, the Wild and Avalanche are tied in points, with the Wild just having one more win.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a little different.
Yeah, it is.
The Avalanche have been climbing quite a bit. They have a 4-game winning streak right now.
They're still waiting for Winnipeg to wake up, though.
Yeah, Winnipeg's they do really well for 2-3 games, and then they just have this off game. It's kind of weird.
Need more consistency.
Yeah, because even in their losses, they used to play last season, they would play pretty well in their losses. It's just, you lose some, puck bounces don't go your way. But this season so far, it's they play really well and they win, or they play really bad that the puck bounces don't matter anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then in the Pacific, Calgary's leading the division with a 14-9-1 record for 29 points. And then San Jose is finally doing something. They're 12-8-4 with 28 points. And Vegas is now third with a NHL 500 record.
Yeah, I mean, look, weren't they last time that we checked in?
They were sixth.
Last or second to last?
Sixth or so, maybe 7, but 6 or 7.
Either way, they've jumped 3 or 4
about 4 spots.
Yeah. So, good on them, but 12 losses is
still pretty bad.
I mean, yeah, outside of the Kings, there's not really any other team that has that many.
No, they are the only team with 12 regulation losses, yes.
Except for the Kings.
Yeah.
And the Canucks.
Oh, yeah, the Canucks do have one more, huh?
Jeez. We thought the Metro was a shit show.
I mean, to be fair, there are 12 points separating all teams in this division.
Yeah, but also to be fair, they've all lost a lot of games.
But I mean, there is definite difference between your bottom team being 8-14-1, and then as of now 9-10-4.
Yes, I'm just saying that the third seed probably shouldn't have 12 losses just yet. No, third in the Pacific.
Third. Yeah, but they've also played the second most games, right? The two teams with the second and third most losses have played the most games so far in their division.
That's fine. I'm just not ready to make an excuse for that yet.
Yeah, no, I'm just
when the
bringing
season
up the
starts,
fact.
you have a lot more energy.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, they were doing really bad. The Golden Knights have bounced back to an extent.
Yeah, Fleury's pitched some shutouts lately.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that you're still waiting for teams like Edmonton. Edmonton probably won't wake up as much as you would think they would. Although I know you for a fact probably you're thinking that the ceiling is a lot lower than the Edmonton fan thinks it is.
Oh heck yeah! Like I've been saying this since the beginning of the season.
Yeah, you've been very vocal about it.
You cannot win with one line.
But I think if you're a Canucks and Oilers fan, you're hoping playoffs are not out of reach yet. But it's very hard with their starts to think that.
So hold on. If I'm a Canucks fan, I'm hoping Elias Peterson doesn't get hurt again.
Yeah.
Number one.
No, absolutely right.
Because as much as it's to begin the season as a Canucks fan, I don't think you have playoff aspirations. I'm watching Canucks games because I want to see Peterson. I'm sorry if I mispronounce whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see him play. He's that good. Like, I'm watching those games. I'm not a Canucks fan, but I feel like as a Canucks fan, even if I'm not in the playoff hunt, Peterson is such a good player that I would tune in and watch games just for him.
Mm-hmm.
And so, my thing is, as a Canucks fan, I don't really care about the playoff picture so much right now. Like, maybe at game 50, 55, if we're still in the mix, then I'll start caring about, like, oh, we can get in the playoffs and do something. But right now, we're about halfway there, game 26 for these guys.
Yeah.
They could make it, they couldn't, but I'm just it's more about the young guys and keeping them healthy. Because they still have a lot of time on those young guys, and they're just going to get better.
No, you're right. Like I said, they're not out of reach right now.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I agree.
I'm not trying to say that like anything has been decided yet, or that they're trending in one direction or the other. I'm just saying that it's right now they're not out of reach, and only time will tell really what they'll be this year. But this year doesn't mean anything to that organization.
Yeah, it's just getting better.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it means something to the Oilers, but again, I really don't think their ceiling is that high.
Exactly.
And to be fair, even though the Coyotes are pretty down this year, they've been playing fairly well. Like, I know they just got killed. I think they lost 5-1 or whatever to the Flames, but their season last year started off terribly, and this year, I mean, they're not doing the greatest, but they're putting up some great shows. They have a lot of great shorthanded goals. They're fun to watch in a lot of cases. Like, you pick up the highlights of their game. It's good to see.
Yeah. Nice to see when teams build and they live up to it. What?
I also have some bias against Kovalchuk, right? So
we get the weekly Kovalchuk update from the Devils fan.
So since the coaching change, Kovalchuk has had 3 goals, and they're on I think it's 3 points or 3 goals, and they were on the first game that the coaching change happened. Ooh. Since then, he hasn't scored or been part of a point, I think.
Bad player.
He also has gotten reduced minutes by a lot.
Old player.
Yeah, so, I mean, again...
Put them together, it's a bad old player. Good thing they gave him $27 million or whatever it was.
Yeah, I don't know how much they gave him.
Yeah.
Not really care.
Let's not look into it.
Yeah, I don't really care.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, you got anything else?
No, that's about it.
Yep. All right. Sounds about good. And the Titans just scored a touchdown, just to prove that it is still Monday night. All right. Catch you guys later.